Welcome to my quotes channel. If you watch the audio, then like my channel, subscribe, and comment. Let me know, so subscribe now to get more good audio like this. With the new day comes new strength and new thoughts. Eleanor Roosevelt. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. A woman is like a tea bag. You can't tell how strong she is until you put her in hot water. Freedom makes a huge requirement of every human being. With freedom comes responsibility for the person who is unwilling to grow up. The person who does not want to carry his own weight. This is a frightening prospect. Eleanor Roosevelt. If life were predictable, it would cease to be life and be without flavor. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you'll be criticized anyway. You'll be damned if you do, and damned if you don't. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You are able to say to yourself, I lived through this horror. I can take the next thing that comes along. Eleanor Roosevelt. Never allow a person to tell you no who doesn't have the power to say yes. It is not fair to ask of others what you are not willing to do yourself. In the long run, we shape our lives, and we shape ourselves. The process never ends until we die, and the choices we make are ultimately our own responsibility. It isn't enough to talk about peace. One must believe in it, and it isn't enough to believe in it. One must work at it. You must do the things you think you cannot do. It takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. Happiness is not a goal, it is a byproduct. People grow through experience if they meet life honestly and courageously. This is how character is built. Probably the happiest period in life, most frequently, is in middle age, when the eager passions of youth are cooled, and the infirmities of age not yet begun. As we see that the shadows, which are at morning and evening, so large, almost entirely disappear at midday. I think at a child's birth, if a mother could ask a fairy godmother to endow it with the most useful gift, that gift should be curiosity. Understanding is a two-way street. I once had a rose named after me, and I was very flattered, but I was not pleased to read the description in the catalogue. No good in a bed, but fine up against a wall. Since you get more joy out of giving joy to others, you should put a good deal of thought into the happiness that you are able to give. You have to accept whatever comes, and the only important thing is that you meet it with courage and with the best that you have to give. We are afraid to care too much, for fear that the other person does not care at all. Eleanor Roosevelt. In all our contacts, it is probably the sense of being really needed and wanted, which gives us the greatest satisfaction and creates the most lasting bond. Eleanor Roosevelt. Old age has deformities enough of its own. It should never add to them the deformity of vice. I'm so glad I never feel important. It does complicate life. Anyone who knows history, particularly the history of Europe, will, I think, recognize that the domination of education or of government by any one particular religious faith is never a happy arrangement for the people. There are practical little things in housekeeping which no man really understands. I think I lived those years very impersonally. It was almost as though I had erected someone outside myself who was the president's wife. I was lost somewhere deep down inside myself. That is the way I felt and worked until I left the White House. The only advantage of not being too good a housekeeper is that your guests are so pleased to feel how very much better they are. Ambition is pitiless. Any merit that it cannot use, it finds despicable. Have convictions. Be friendly. Stick to your beliefs as they stick to theirs. Work as hard as they do. Campaign behavior. For wives. Always be on time. Do as little talking as humanly possible. Lean back in the parade car so everybody can see the president. Hate and force cannot be in just a part of the world without having an effect on the rest of it. Eleanor Roosevelt. I think that somehow we learn who we really are and then live with that decision. Actors are one family over the entire world. The Bible, illustrated by Doré, occupied many of my hours, and I think probably gave me many nightmares. Anyone who thinks must think of the next war as they would of suicide. The only things one can admire, at length, are those one admires, without knowing why. The mother of a family should look upon her housekeeping and the planning of meals as a scientific occupation. I used to tell my husband that if he could make me understand something, it would be clear to all the other people in the country. I do not think that I am a natural born mother. If I ever wanted to mother anyone, it was my father. Too often the great decisions are originated and given form in bodies made up wholly of men, or so completely dominated by them that whatever of special value women have to offer is shunted aside without expression. Eleanor Roosevelt.